when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
At Big Bird Transportation Service, we specialize in safe, fast, and dependable delivery transportation for businesses and individuals. Whether you're sending a small package across town or need scheduled deliveries for your company, we're here to make sure your items arrive on time, every time. Our team is committed to providing efficient logistics solutions with a personal touch. With a fleet of well-maintained vehicles and experienced drivers, we handle every delivery with care, from pickup to drop-off. Why choose Big Bird? On-demand and scheduled deliveries. Local and regional coverage. Secure.
All right, sorry about that. In Guyana, what really happens, technical problems, blackout, you name it. And I just thought for a moment that we weren't going to be on. And I was just about to send out a message and say, I'm not on. But the struggle continues. This struggle is not just a one night or, or a 1 week or a short term. You know what I mean? It's for the long haul, the longevity. This is not a brush through and that's it. You've got to get the stamina. If you don't have the stamina, get out of the kitchen, because politics and in this struggle, the struggle is not just about Facebook alone and pia on Facebook. The struggle is real. And if you guys do not, if you guys, I don't know why our operator put that up, confidential informant, we're done with that, but they do have lots and lots of confidential informants. Sorry, I don't even know why that went up there. But and let me say this to you, all of you, wherever you're. Uh, I noticed, like I've said, some problems in Guyana. Well, in fact, lots of problems in Guyana, lots and lots of problems in Guyana. Some of you might be asking, maybe if you have little kids around, Mom, why is that old man saying Guyana, Guyana? There's a reason for that. We know it's Guyana. We understand. We know that. Come on, guys. I know that. I didn't go to I-Flat University. I didn't. Trust me, I didn't. So what's up? What's up? What's happening with you guys in your neck of the woods? Look, sometimes I usually say that when you fight for justice, when you're fighting for justice, it must not be only when it reaches at your doorstep. And I've been in this struggle long enough to know who ignored and who this and who that. When you see your neighbor, when you see your neighbor house is being burnt down or whatever, you gotta help. You can't stand at the side, ignore, or even join the oppressors. You've got to fight because at some point in time, hallelujah, well, tonight is a preaching night. As you know, all weekend was preaching weekend. And so Mark is here to preach tonight because we're not going to get to the no weapons part. Again, good night to all of you, every single one of you. Right? And so when you see somebody within your community, injustice is meted out to that person, you've got to do something. You cannot ignore, you cannot pretend as though it doesn't happen, and only when it happens to you, then you want the clock must stop. And everybody must ball out injustice. Not me. No, not me. Some of them could get vexed. They could say this, they could do that. It doesn't matter to me. Right? Sorry, I had to make it out like that. And I'm here to preach tonight. Right? And so in a community, and you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys know that if you walk the street, and you see somebody take and slap somebody, right? Somebody slaps some. You got to be able to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. This is so wrong. You can't turn a blind eye or encourage the individual to be slap up some more, right? Can I get an amen? I don't know. It seems as though we're going to go for at least 2-3 hours tonight. Sorry, guys. So, injustice in any country, if you turn a blind eye on injustices, expect that at some point in time, it's going to come knocking at your door. Ding-a-ling, ding-a. It's going to drive up, vroom, and it's going to come. Anybody, this is not for one particular person, anybody in general. And this is why the Bible says, sorry about that. This is why the Bible says, if you see injustice being done to a brother or a sister, you've got to stand up and you've got to speak out. The Quran, I believe, speaks of that too. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of that as well. You do not celebrate when real injustices, real persecution. And I have seen so many persons in Guyana being persecuted, being jailed unjustly. fake charges. People died under questionable circumstances. Some were assassinated under the corrupt PPP regime. And most were quiet. People didn't want to say anything. Oh, let this person go. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. The Christian community, where were they? The Hindus, the Muslims. I'm here to preach tonight. (18 minutes after 9 o'clock Guyana time). My name is Mark Benshap. If you're now joining us, thank you so much for sharing the link, because I want to talk to you guys tonight. I really want to talk to you. If you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. It was my friend, former Prime Minister and former Mayor of Georgetown, Hamilton Green. We should invite Hamilton Green sometime this week, right? Okay, we should invite the mayor, former Prime Minister, he was a former minister as well. And then he was a former General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform. That's when General Secretary was Oops, let me not get involved with that. By the way, I'm not here for that tonight. But Hamilton Green was, how many of you know that Mr. Hamilton Green was the youngest General Secretary of the People's National Congress? He was also Prime Minister, held a lot of portfolios, right? The longest serving mayor of Georgetown. Hamilton Green, happy birthday to you, my friend. God's richest blessings. I saw some members of Parliament visited him, Coretta McDonald, Saiku Andrews, and some others visited him. Ronald Daniels is no longer young. We got to stop saying young. So happy birthday to Mr. Hamilton Green. And those of you who are celebrating your birthday today or yesterday or tomorrow, whatever, happy birthday to you, all of you, every single one of you. Look, on the ground and fighting against a corrupt regime, you must not be able to pick and choose. The battle has to be consistent. And I've been in Guyana during the rough times, and I know who sat on the sideline. I know who participated by pooling up their monies to have phantom squads, killing squads. I know a lot of them. This is not Facebook talk or a bluff talk or just turn on your Facebook just for gaff's sake. No. Been there, understand it, know who the players are. And that is why today I can say that the things that happened yesteryear and people ignore it. They ignored it for the most part. Nothing was said. Nothing was done. Nobody cares. And nobody cared then. But now when it hits their doorstep, the country must shut down, right? It must shut down. It doesn't work so. But let me say this to you guys. And let me bring you guys, I don't know, how many of you know of this story? How many of you remember this woman, Carol Ann Monroe, and her husband, Major Bruce Monroe, and another Guyana Defense Force warrant officer, Leonard Wharton? How many of you guys remember this case? Now, let me try to, as they say in Guyana, let me jug your memory a little bit. How many of you guys remember this case? How many of you guys stood up for these people? How many of you guys realize that these people were persecuted? That woman in the middle, of course, the woman there was snatched away from her little children. She's a teacher. How many of you guys know that? And look, her husband, when you have a wicked, an evil government, snatched this husband and wife away, put this woman in shackles. Not only shackles, placed her in solitary confinement for 1 year. How many of you remember that? How many of you said anything? How many of you stood up to fight for them? A husband and a wife. All because Jack Dale and Irfan, well, Irfan was just a little puppet then. And Donald Ramotar and these guys. How many of you remember this story? These were people who were persecuted, you know. The injustices is not something overnight. It is not something that's being targeted against one set of people now who were enjoying the benefits of the nation and sitting back and racking back while people were being persecuted left, right, and center in the country. Now, two wrongs don't make a right, don't get me wrong. But I know persecution when I see persecution. I know injustices when I see injustices. And this is a perfect example of injustices. Perfect example. Yet the majority of you guys, yes, the majority of you guys were silent. Some didn't even have the guts to speak out. Some didn't even want to say anything. Is it because of their ethnicity? Is it because they don't have too much, a little mullah and these sort of things? Is it because they ride a bicycle or a scooter or a jump and spread out? Y'all remember jump and spread out, right? Or a kalai? Is it because that? But I just want to remind you guys, though, you know, I just want to remind you guys, how many churches were praying for these people? Now, I'm just talking about them, right? I'm not getting involved in my personal and me, and because I know a lot of churches, and I hope Hindu temples were praying for me too, and the mosque, I hope so, but I know a lot of churches were praying. But this is about them. This is about these people here. You know, when they came out from prison, and I'm telling you this because I've been there, I covered their story, I've interviewed them, I've visited them while they were in Camp Street Prison, the husband and his co-accused, and Carol Ann Monroe. You guys don't know the sort of treatment that this woman endured. And these guys, they were dumped at the back of police vehicles. They were shackled. This woman, yes, she was shackled. Where was the pain and the cries of the nation? Y'all want me to tell you, you guys want me to give you examples, show you examples of injustices and real political persecution? They had no evidence against these folks, none whatsoever, no evidence. But they dumped them in prison for over 1 year on a charge of treason, a trumped-up treason charge. The corrupt PVP regime, they were handing out treason charges left, right, and center. Left, right, and center treason charges. And this woman, Carol Ann Monroe, the first female to ever in the history of Guyana, probably in the history of the Caribbean, charged with treason. A corrupt government charged her with treason. I just want to bring you guys back on your memories and so forth. You know, she went to court in shackles. In shackles. In shackles. Put in solitary confinement. Stripped her and put her in solitary confinement. Y'all want me to talk about persecution and injustices? Why wasn't the cry so loud? Why? Because of their ethnicity? Is that what it is? Because they just have a kalai? A bicycle? A jump and spread out scooter? All right. I hope I made my point quite clear with this here. Real persecution, real injustices. So these things that is being branded around now as injustices and persecution, they were there all the time, and worse meted out to people who didn't deserve it. Now, no government should go about persecuting any citizen. I just want to make this point clear. No government should go around persecuting citizens. No government should go around treating people differently as it pertains to the law. The application of the law should be equal across the board. But we have had this inequality for a long time, particularly under the PPP regime. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Now, I say that these things are recycled in a sense. Right after the 2020 elections, these people were locked up, handcuffed. I believe some of them may have been shackled as well. There's just a few of them. There was no noise from a lot of people. People were afraid to speak out, afraid to stand up and call for justice. Even on social media, they were afraid to associate themselves with these individuals, afraid of a corrupt PPP regime. Why were you guys afraid? Some of you. Is it because of their ethnicity? That we didn't see it as persecution? We didn't see it as injustices against these individuals on trumped up charges of electoral fraud? Real persecution. Here it is. This is an example of real persecution, real political victimization under a corrupt PPP regime. But the nation was quiet. Now let's go back to these folks. Even after no evidence against these individuals, 1+ years in prison, the woman, they didn't put the men in solitary confinement, you know. I repeat, they did not put the men in solitary confinement. Not that they should have, because these guys were innocent. But they put the woman in solitary confinement. Ask yourselves why. Again, let's go back to her ethnicity. Some people might get vexed, and it's okay, but I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. They stripped her, they put her in a cell, solitary confinement, no lights, no nothing. That's the treatment they meted out to this woman here, that woman, Carol Ann Monroe, a teacher who did nothing wrong. But because Jack Dale and Donald Ramotar and those PPP thugs, the bumps raised, they claimed that they were in some conversation to overthrow the PPP regime. Everybody, they believe, in some conversation to overthrow them. That is what they claimed. When the matter went to court, there was no evidence, none. They destroyed these people's family. And that is what the corrupt PPP regime does. So what you're seeing now is nothing new, nothing new. These are the faces of real oppression. These are the faces of individuals who were oppressed by a corrupt PPP regime, persecuted by a corrupt PPP regime. And when you talk about injustices, talk about these people. Their constitutional rights were violated. All of their rights were violated. They were stripped of those rights. But thankfully, a few of us stood out with them. Thankfully, a few of us. I don't know if you guys remember this case, but the other thing, you know, people like to talk about second chances, and so fair enough. Fair enough. When these folks came out of prison, they won their case. You know what? Nobody wanted to hire them. People didn't even want to be next to them. No, I can tell you from personal experience, mind you, right? But we're not going to get involved in that tonight, at least no. Nobody wanted to give them a job. People didn't want to probably pray for them or anything like that because they were afraid to touch these people. They were afraid to even give these people a job. They were afraid, minibus drivers and so forth, probably, they were afraid to even pick these people up under the corrupt PPP regime. while everybody were, the big ones and the rich ones were sitting and eating the king's meat and enjoying every single thing. They didn't give a rat's about anything at all. You know how they have turned these people's lives upside down and their family's life. 1+ years, 1+ years. Could you imagine what they have done to others? Just imagine what they have done to others. While those who could have done something sat quietly or participated in the persecution of people in Guyana. We became good friends. Major Bruce Monroe, Carol Ann Monroe, even while they were in prison and we were outside fighting for them. This was a sad story. As much as it brings back memories too. It's a sad story watching this woman go to court, dumped at the back of a police vehicle. That's nothing new. Grabbing citizens, you know how many women were grabbed off the streets and dashed, not dumped, dashed at the back of a police vehicle. All these things, nothing new, guys, nothing new. But many folks were quiet. Some of them were complicit. It's a sad situation. I hope they're doing okay. I haven't spoken to them in probably at least over a year now, but they're always good people. They're no criminals. They're good people. But a wicked and corrupt PPP regime victimized these people, persecuted these people. Nobody gave a rat's you know what. Most people were quiet then. Now, the 2020 elections, corruption, rigging, but not on the part of these guys. Now, look, I'm not here to put my head on the block for anybody, but I'll tell you guys this. The PPP jumped up on the mountaintop, and their friends and their cronies, those who gave money and guns and all manner of things for the 2020 elections, that disrupted these people's lives, destroyed, so to speak, these people's lives and their families as well. The 2020 elections was rigged. Rigged, not by these people, but by the PPP and their friends, those who give them millions of dollars and vehicles and all manner of things and guns. They were able to facilitate the rigging of the elections. And those who know about the rigging of the elections should come forward and talk, because these people's lives were disrupted and to some extent destroyed because nobody wanted to hire them. Nobody wanted to invite them into their churches and pray for them. Nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to say to them, no weapons formed against them shall not prosper, or no weapons formed against them shall prosper. None. Nobody wanted to say these things because of their ethnicity and because they just didn't give a damn of standing up for these people's rights. Some of them condemned them. I hope you guys understand what is being said. So now, look, those who know about the rigging of the 2020 elections, because it was rigged. And this is what I have said. If the Mohammeds, if they have, and I know I'm using the word if you know what I mean, knowledge about the rigging of the 2020 elections and what Jack Dio and Irfan and others did, they should speak out. Some may say, oh, they can't speak out now. Oh, they're sending out a blue bird. We don't want to hear no blue bird and small thing for a little who in pay tax or Lamborghini. And that's small thing, man. They got bigger things to talk about. And if they want to talk about it, let them talk. Let them talk about the 2020 elections. And I'm more than willing to entertain either the senior Mohammed or the junior Mohammed right here to talk about the 2020 elections and the rigging of the 2020 elections. It's not going to be swept under the rug just like that, as though nothing has happened to destroy the nation. No, it's not. And so I don't know. Do we have any pastor in the audience? Do we have any pastor? We could pray for these guys, and we can pray for them and let them know that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. None. Hallelujah. None. This is our temple. This is our temple. This is Ben Shop Temple, Straight Up Temple, 107.1 FM Temple. And maybe we can pray for them too, because they deserve praying. A lot of other people who are persecuted in that country, they deserve prayers as well. They deserve forgiveness as well. They deserve a second chance as well. Where is Devin Sears? Some pastor should take him into church and pray for him as well, because he's human being too. He's human beings too. I mean, he's a human being too. I don't know, some people might just, oh, Ben Chap is jealous. Oh, Ben. Every time that you speak reality, that's what you hear. But let me ask you this. Is it only the Christian churches that are opening up for forgiveness and these things? Now, I don't have a problem with forgiveness, and don't get me wrong, right? I don't have a problem with people standing up and fighting against real injustices, mind you. Real injustice. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people standing up and bawling out real persecution, real political persecution. I don't have a problem with that at all. But have you guys ever seen, other than the Christian churches, have you guys ever seen, let's say, for example, let them take somebody into a Hindu temple, maybe a black guy. I'm not saying they're not African Guyanese who are Hindus, but take a black politician. Let's say, take Aubrey Norton or Nigel Hughes. Invite Aubrey Norton and Nigel Hughes or even David Patterson into a Hindu temple. Pray for them too. Pray for them in a Hindu temple. Take them into a mosque and do the same as well. Because those religions also believe in forgiveness, I think, right? So take Aubrey Norton and Patterson, David Patterson, and Nigel Hughes, take them into a church, Hindu temple, and pray for them. Tumewa mata chapita, tumewa bandu, swaha. Pray for them and ask for forgiveness too. Ask the entire Hindu community to forgive them for whatever sins, whatever. Ask the Hindu community for let bygones be bygones and let's move the nation forward. Then when you're done, take them into a mosque and do the same to them. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, brother. Pray for them too. They're human beings as well. And pray and ask that let the nation be healed. This thing is not a one-sided thing, you know. It's not a one-sided thing. It's not. But we only see a one-sidedness all the time. Where the Christians are told, always willing, right away, forgive, we're all human beings. Yes, we are. Don't get me wrong. Prayers are good. Forgiveness also. But they get some Christians just so dry they feel that forgive and move on. Forgive and move on. Is it that that's how we were taught as Africans? Forgive and move on. Oh, we're all human beings. Allow our ancestors them, let them stay in slavery for another 100 years. Don't do nothing to Massa. Pray for Massa. Massa, we love you. Chains, watak, Massa, forgive Massa. Massa no beat me no more. Wataks, chain again. Hang your ancestors them, murder them, kill them out, rape them, all manner of stuff, dump them in shallow graves. Is that what Massa instilled in us through the Bible preaching? Now, I'm not attacking Christianity, right? I'm not. I grew up as a Jehovah Witness and Clapham and things like that, right? I've said it many a times. I'm a believer, mind you. I'm not an atheist, mind you. I'm a believer. But sometimes when I see something, and this is not being personal, I've always held this view, and I always, at times, whenever necessary, I spoke out about these things. So this is not just me talking about it now, but is that like the Bible, there's something, and pastors and apostles and so forth, the legitimate ones who are watching, please forgive me if I'm going the wrong route in terms of my understanding, because I understand what it says in Proverbs 3:5, lean not on thine own understanding, right? And then somewhere in Ephesians, is it Ephesians 6:10 that says we fight against not flesh and blood, but against principalities and wickedness in dark places, right? We are seeing wickedness in Guyana. But while we hold out that we should not, this is about flesh, and it's not about flesh and blood, but it's about wickedness in high places, right? I sometimes want to see that our Hindu brothers and sisters open up the temples and pray also. Open up the mosque and pray and allow, don't divide the mosque, that African Guyanese can go in certain mosques and all these sort of things. We know what's going on. But mind you, I'm watching the Mohammeds them. They're following the people them. They went to Philippi. Y'all know how many of y'all know is Philippi they went? And the two pastors that prayed for them, I wonder if Mohammed know that them two pastors, my relative, right? The Bagats them, Philippi, they went there, and I have a strong feeling he's circling, he going around, right? He went right there, some of y'all cussing me about the Mohammeds them, and the Mohammeds them run right at Philippi, walk right into that place where I used to play as a little boy and all kind of thing, and went right down into my cousin the church, the Bagats them, right? Right at church, Pastor Ewart and Egbert, right? Ewart and Egbert. Pray right there. I wonder if Mohammed knows that them is me blood, right? Blood family. But I'm not here to condemn any prayers. I'm not here to condemn any my pastor cousins them. But them manners did some serious praying upon Azruddin though, When Azruddin walked out there, I swear to God that Azruddin is no longer Muslim. Right? He stopped saying Salaam alaikum. The man started saying Jesus is Lord or whatever. But the point that I'm making there, and he went right at Philippi. Philippi, you went by and watch, you can go somewhere else. Look, Azruddin, if you want to talk, it's nothing personal against Azruddin. I don't know him. I've never met him. Never spoke to the guy. However, if you want to talk, since you're now born again, come here. Let's talk about certain things. I'll conduct a proper interview. It's not going to be a hostile interview. Or you can have your father come and interview too. I want to talk specifically about the 2020 elections. I want to talk about nothing else. The 2020 elections. I want to hear what Jack Dale did. And then when you tell us what Jack Dale did with the 2020 elections, then we can talk. But for now, Nah, you got to give meat. You got to give something. But let me just remind some of you guys too. You see that same church at Philippi that my cousins them two bagged pastors prayed for Azruddin, and somebody who did that set him up. They knew that they were taking him to Philippi. There's a place in the Bible called Philippi, right? And so they took him to Philippi. They took him right into the hands of my two cousins, the Bagats, right into the hands of my two cousins, right? And then my two cousins prayed. They're twins, right? They're twins. They've always been this way since we were small, little kids, little boys growing up. They've always, and we always have respect for them, Pastor Bagats them. So it's not an attack on them. But they were praying, and they had Azruddin, and they said to Azruddin, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No weapon. But let me tell you guys, and this is not mocking them or the prayer. Right away, I remembered that President David Arthur Granger went to that same church, the same Solomon Temple at Philippi. And President Granger gave a speech. This was just before the 2020 general and regional elections. And them same two pastors, Pastor Bagat, held on to President Granger and they prayed. They said, hallelujah. And do you know the same words were uttered? They held on to President Granger and they said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And a couple months after, bam, they rigged the elections and take away the elections from David Arthur Granger. No weapon formed against him shall prosper, and they take away the elections from him. The weapon, I know what happened there, but Pastor Bagats and them, they remember that prayer. And it's the same prayer now again. They held on to Azruddin Muhammad and they said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And right away, it came back to 2020 elections and David Granger, and just like that, elections stolen from David Arthur Granger. But in the 2020 elections, when it was stolen from David Granger and the PNC and APNO and so forth, the Mohammeds and them were stink with money, financing the elections and so forth and so on and all. So y'all get what I'm trying to say here? No weapon. So if somebody comes, if my two cousins, those two pastors, and I love them, man, I respect them, but anytime, and they know me well, anytime they put their hand on me and tell me about no weapon going to form against me shall prosper, I run in far. far. Good night again to Pastor Bagas if they're watching. This life is funny. This life is funny. This is a funny life, I tell you. Eldon and Rhonda Lane. Rhonda, come, let me pray for you, girl. No weapon that formed against you, Rhonda, shall prosper. Right? All of you, who want a little prayer, let me know. I noticed Sean Anthony Benny Young with us tonight. No, seriously. If you guys, and I wish I had the photograph to show you guys that the same two pastors prayed for David Arthur Granger as president. Oh, Father, and bop, the 2020 elections just fly away like that. Stolen. Now, let's get to this here now. There's another issue I want to touch on this particular issue. Many of us were talking about it, but nobody cared. Nobody cared. But look, this particular situation, I want you to take a look.
The foreign observers and allow the local observers, that's discrimination. Right, so we allow the foreigners what they be. Dr. Ali, I'm glad you must mark this police face. When the government change, you must know their jobs in jeopardy.
How many of you guys remember that tape? That's just a portion of all the tape. No, Miss Cutting. No, not my cousins, them. My cousins, them, they're not crooks. Nobody for me and my family. Right? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. So wait, man. Oh, wait. Garcia say you're making a mockery. What am I making a mockery about? Tell me, Yadelka. And this is not. I know you're. It's okay if you think that way, but what am I making a mockery about? Tell me, and I'll apologize. I'm not too big to apologize or anything like that. And if you feel offended by anything, whether it's the prayer, um, uh, forgive me, please. Forgive me. Forgive me. Right? I'm not making a mockery. I don't know. What am I making a mockery of, Yadelka? Sorry. Tell me. So, am I making a mockery of my two cousins, the pastors, the Baggots, them? No, I'm not making a mockery, man. Oh, sometimes you're a little too thin-skinned, man. You're almost able to read between the lines, right? So, for 5 years, we have been 5 years we have been calling for justice in the 2020 elections. 5 years. Suddenly, all these things gonna pop up back. Little snippets, chuchups. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? Y'all remember that? And the Mohammeds, they were right there. And when we were bawling out injustice and all these sort of things, but suddenly now the same thing that we have been asking for and crying out for justice, it's being reintroduced now back, right? That is why I'm saying that the 2020 elections, I want the Mohammeds them to speak out about the 2020 elections. They knew, in my opinion, they are aware of a lot of things. And the 2020 elections were rigged. They are aware of what Jack Deere did. They are aware of what happened at GCOM. And I want them to speak out about that. And so anytime they're ready to talk, I'm available to interview them right here on 107.1 FM. That's it. That's all. I'm not there to interview them, but anything else. They get their people to fight for them. I'm just going to ask a few questions and whatever they wish to say about the 2020 elections. Even if they don't want to come here, fair enough. They can go somewhere else and talk about the 2020 elections and talk about something if they know anything about Jack Deere and a foreign bank account, maybe China or somewhere. They gotta attack Jack Deere, you know. They gotta send things out that they have on Jack Deere because Jack Deere is going ruthless against them. Not so much Irfan. Irfan is not a man of his own. He's not a man of his own, even though it's said that he picked me here and picked me there, whatever. But Jack Deere is the man that is going after the Mohammeds them. And the Mohammeds them have to stand up and fight Jack Deere. Fight him, confront him, fight him. I'm not talking about physical battle. Fight him, fight him. Don't just throw out a little blue board and holler, blue saki and everything. No, fight him, fight him. And this is what the nation wants. The nation, the people who are supporting the Mohammeds, they don't like the PPP. Fair enough. The people who are supporting APNO and PNC and so forth, they want to see the back of the PPP, and rightly so, right? But those who are supporting the Mohammeds, most of them are supporting the Mohammeds not because they really like the Mohammeds, you know, but because they hate Jack Deere. Not so much that they hate the PPP, but because they hate Jack Deere. And I believe if Satan come dunk right now, some of them who supporting the Mohammeds will support Satan as well. And now this is not disrespecting people who support the Mohammed that they will run it. The point that I'm making is that because of the hatred people have for Jack Deere, and they believe that the Mohammeds could do something to get rid of Jack Deere and the PPP, politically speaking, that is. Politically speaking. You know, people like to misinterpret. Politically speaking, that is. But we're not seeing that. There's no evidence of that. All you see that Mohammed and his team, what you call them, winners, win, all they're doing, they're breaking up the PNC. And so it leaves people now to wonder, are the Mohammeds really after the PPP? Or are they really after the PNC to break up the PNC, to destroy the PNC? We're seeing the evidence. And so in order for me to be convinced, I'm not a Mohammed supporter. I don't support them, never did. Now, I don't hate them. And this is nothing personal against them. However, if they want people to see that they're serious, then people in a time who ain't paid, what is it, tax on Lamborghini and tax on Jack, they're upon stupidness. You know how many people in the country don't pay taxes? Right now, I'm sure that some people in Guyana, some of them watching this program here too, they get a car, they ain't even pay taxes. They get a car, they're not even driving it with insurance and all these sort of things. They get enough big people doing that, you know. So I'm not saying that it's right. It's not right at all. And for the Mohammeds, them, if they are responsible, if they are politicians now, well, then you've got to live a better life and set a better example. There's no excuse for driving a wrong vehicle without insurance. Sorry about that. So what we're seeing here is the personal back and forth. But what people want is meat. People want meat. You know, if Mohammed throw the meat out. If they get the meat and throw the meat out, I'll invite them right here, like I said. Throw the meat out, man. They ain't giving no meat. They ain't giving, it's just bare song bites all the time. Song bites. Playing with the emotions of citizens. Just song bites upon song bites. Throw out a piece of evidence here and say, look, this lawyer here.
It's foreign observers and all of the local observers. That's discrimination.
2020 elections, we all know what happened in elections, and the lawyer, I don't know what happened, but like everybody fall out with everybody now. Everybody fall out with everybody. And this lawyer now, maybe, you know, his life was threatened. By whom? Just like Claudette Singh's life was threatened. Claudette Singh felt that there was a hit out for her. And on that day that they invaded the Elections Commission, Claudette Singh is of the view, and others are of the view, that the PPP and their agents were there to assassinate Claudette Singh. You see, that is why I'm going back to the 2020 elections, and I'm saying the Mohammeds should throw whatever meat they have out there, because this key thing is the 2020 elections. Talk about the 2020 elections, Mohammed. Y'all went by my cousin's church and they pray for y'all and all these sort of things. Talk. Don't just stay quiet. Talk. What else is happening? They went to court today and that was it. They got to go back on the 24th. Meanwhile, lots of things still happening. Lots and lots of things still happening. I don't want to say anything else, but lots and lots of things are happening. But Guyana needs to move forward. We're not going anywhere. That country is not going every single day. It's just the same thing. Same thing. Diversion. That is what is it. It's just basically, you're not hearing about any plans, any policies. You're not hearing about anything. Nothing at all. Bare distraction. Every single day. Tomorrow you're going to hear something else. And then Wednesday, back. Oops, sorry about that. I shouldn't say anything about Wednesday. And that is just what it is. Wednesday. What is good? I don't know. But this whole week, distraction upon distraction upon distraction. I don't know. Let's see what Commissioner Cole is saying here. Good night to Commissioner Cole. News source: attorneys representing the United States government in the extradition proceedings against Nazir and Azruddin Mohammed handed over key documents to the court this morning as the hearing continued. Those documents, including a diplomatic note and warrants from U.S. authorities, In late October, the U.S. formally requested the extradition of the father and son to face an 11-count indictments in Florida related to allegations of mail fraud and wire fraud and money laundering, etc., etc., etc. But you haven't heard about the etc., etc., etc. as yet. Etc., etc. as yet. Lots of things, guys. Do not be brainwashed. Lots and lots of things, and it will leave your jaw dropping. Lots and lots of things. But I want to hear about the 2020 elections. I know a lot took place. Lots of things took place. And Paul Granger, that the pastor prayed and tell them no weapon formed against them shall prosper. And boom, elections gone. Let's see what Joy Lynn is saying here. Mohammed waiting to see how far more Jack they're going to go. Anytime it looked like they're getting extradited, then the SH, they're going to hit the fan. Wait on. All right, let's hope that Joy Lynn is a seafar woman. But at least she's seen far enough now. She knows her birthday is in about 16 days, right? Counting the birthday days, right, Joy Lynn? And all right, so let me see here. What else we can talk about before we go? Because, I'm getting up there in age, and as a nothing else to do in my life other than talk to you guys and represent you guys and expose corruption in every form, every single form, right? But Shondell, let me see what Shondell Dublin is saying. Yes, Mr. Mark, they want to break up the PNC. The PNC is breaking up. That seems to be the target, mind you, not the PPP. The PPP could break up if the Mohammeds them spill the guts on what they have on Jack Jail and Irfan Ali and others in the PPP and senior police officers. Them is the bacchanal I want, I want that. There's the bacchanal I want. Me want to hear what dotish tax we pay for Lamborghini. Of course, you got to pay your taxes for any vehicle, but me want to hear about that. But vroom, vroom, vroom. Right, vroom, 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 and all these sort of things, right? Guys, I gotta go, guys. I know, I gotta go. So I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. In fact, we'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107. You saw, right? You saw. That's my beautiful daughter, Emma. And all of you guys, we'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. You notice my boss is here, and I'm like, I got to go, right? We all have a boss, right? Sorry, boss. I'm about to go. That's it? Yeah. I'm out of here. Bye-bye, guys. See y'all tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. God bless you. And God bless our beautiful country. Notice how I like to take orders from my boss. Yep, I'm out of here. God bless you.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil Unemployment racism and the lie, they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look up.
Who's that one? Low lights and hungry bellies.
At Big Bird Transportation Service, we specialize in safe, fast, and dependable delivery transportation for businesses and individuals. Whether you're sending a small package across town or need scheduled deliveries for your company, we're here to make sure your items arrive on time, every time. Our team is committed to providing efficient logistics solutions with a personal touch. With a fleet of well-maintained vehicles and experienced drivers, we handle every delivery with care, from pickup to drop-off. Why choose Big Bird? On-demand and scheduled deliveries. Local and regional coverage. Secure and professional handling. Customer-first service. Call us today at 929-329-9938 and let Big Bird take your deliveries to the next level.